Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining us today. We're going to be looking at the Financial Fitness Fair website. And this has been developed by the Maine Credit Union League. My name is Lindsay Babbian, and I work for Flyte New Media. I am a partner with the Credit Union League in developing the site. I'm going to give you an overview tour of the site today, just so that we can walk through and you can understand the purpose of everything and how to use it. So I will start by giving you some background and some goals of this, some of which you may know. The goal here with this website was to be able to bring online and put online the physical form of the high school gymnasium credit union financial fitness fairs that people go to and the different high school students go to. And the reasoning behind that is just it makes it a little bit easier to hopefully be able to have people come online when they have the time versus having to take time out of their day and travel somewhere. Sometimes, depending on where they are in the state, it could be a good length of a day to travel to the location where the fitness fair is. So the goal, this is hopefully going to replace and help, not necessarily replace, but hopefully help with aiding in having more people and more students and more high schools participate in this wonderful educational experience. So this is the homepage. You can see that it looks kind of like a gymnasium. It was designed that way on purpose. We start here with an area for a code and to select a profession. So unless you have a code, then no student can get past this point to begin the exercise. The codes will be sent out by John and Deborah to each of the credit unions, and so that you are therefore then able to log in here and to experience this whole thing for yourselves. Those codes would also be provided to the different high school students, whether or not that's a relationship that is with an actual classroom and a teacher, or if there's some other type of community relationship in which the students in the high school are able to come here with the code provided and log in. I will start by using a test code for today. And then I will choose a profession. You can see there's many professions here, and I'm going to choose one that's kind of in the middle grade and one that relates to me, being the marketing manager. So I will choose that and then click next. When this page loads, you'll see that we have a page that pops up automatically that's a Get Started area and a Get Started page, which really goes through and is meant to serve as a how to do this and how this site works and what do I do for the students that are accessing it. So we have steps 1 through 6. The first step, really quickly, just get a job. I mean, you choose a profession, and that will establish the beginning balance. You'll see step 2 then brings us down to learning about the everyday expenses that a student would have when they come to the site or when they are going through life. But the site will touch upon each of these different types of expenses so that they can understand how they might begin to budget for them and make sure that they have money in their budgets to handle them. The next step, do your homework. So there's information supplied with each of the booths. There's a video for each, about 30 seconds. That is, they were custom made for the site that explain the experience of learning about the expense of that booth that they're at. There also is some text and then a PDF that's available to download and take. The fourth one, spend wisely. You can go through the spending plan and the spending page, which we'll look at, which keeps tally of our budget, and we'll go over that. And so that's obviously an important step. And then looking at how you did and if you need to make any adjustments to that spending plan based on maybe you're in the red or maybe you have a lot of money left over. So maybe you want to put a little bit more away to savings. And then finally, submitting the budget, which we will go all through now and look at. So I'm going to go back up and click the Get Started button, which brings me to the home page for the fair. A couple things to note here. Again, it still looks like you're at a gymnasium floor, just trying to make sure that there's a connection between the two. You'll also see that there's 8 different areas for expenses. Those areas are all meant to just kind of pop off the page. They have icons with them on purpose for the goal of really grasping all of this information and having it being eye-catching. You'll also notice that there's a spending plan tab and a balance right here. And then also up here, kind of an important aspect of this is that it automatically brings through the sponsoring credit union's logo. Kind of a nice feature. Again, just reinstating the community relationship that you would have with the high school students, making sure that they know that you're affiliated with this and that they can come to you and hopefully will come to you and you guys can talk afterwards regarding the budget that they've set for. I will start by just clicking one of the booths. So you see here, if I click the food booth, it just opens up a page that automatically loads up first the video, which hopefully the students would watch. Once they go through and watch that, they can click onto some documentation. And this is the documentation I was referring to with giving the different options for each of the different expense booths that they have. So this food option, we have a food option for $250 per month, $360, and then $650 per month, depending upon the different types of foods that they may be wanting, as well as going out and for lunches as well as dinners. So you can see that the first one is really generic produce and brands, bagged lunches, while it goes all the way up to organic produce and meats and brand name items, and then going in and dining out multiple times per week. Also available on the right-hand side here is the food booth handout. So it's a PDF that each of the booths has that they are able to click and download and refer to later if they want to. So from this booth, I'm able to either go back home to see all my booths again, and I can move on to the next booth, or some students may decide that they want to go straight to their spending plan and choose which of the options they want. So I'm going to click spending plan, which automatically opens up the screen that we had beforehand. And you can see if I close this and open this, this is another way that the student can navigate here. So on our spending plan, it is essentially a large form that is going to do all of our calculations for us. So my starting salary here is $32.85 per month. And for the first booth, I just watched the information. I can make my selection. I'm going to choose that I want option 2. I can see that my price for the balance remaining went down to $29.25 based on my $360. If I decide that, you know what, I think I can deal with the other one, I'm going to go down to $250, then my balance goes up and is reflected. Each of the professions is available at the top here that can be altered and reviewed. They can also see how much approximately, obviously these are approximate, each of the professions commands per month, and so that they can make their selections based on that. From here, I can close my spending plan and come back and look at a different booth, perhaps. I can look at my savings booth maybe and just get an idea for the different types of documentation and video for savings and how much that would affect all of my options. And I can then decide go to housing, where I can go and I can just fill in the whole plan. So the site is meant to be one the student can navigate as they want to and as they wish and as they feel that makes the most sense for them in their learning process. If I scroll down here, I'll just fill in some options and we can see that my budget and my balance goes down. So for entertainment, I'm really going to go for option 3, which is really a lot of concerts, weekends away, nights out. And then I'm going to go for housing. I'm going to say that I'm going to go with a roommate. So it gets me out of the house, but I'm not all alone, so I have some help with the rent. Transportation, I'm going to go with option 3. That's my choice there. And then for savings, again, this is the percentage of the monthly paycheck that I want to put away each month. So this is based on my monthly salary. So if I choose the 10% balance there, that I can see that the savings of 10% is $328.50, and that amount was deducted from my balance. Scrolling down some more, you have your credit area, which is something that we have in order to make the exercise work online. We had to assign a credit score to everybody, which is a medium grade, 680 credit score, middle range. And this obviously is just the important portion of this booth is to just get across that your credit score is hugely important. And it is something that is and helps and it drives a lot of things that you do in your day-to-day life. And then finally down below, we have the final one being student loans. So they're based on the profession that was chosen. There are an option for either a community college or a four-year school, based on depending upon which one is the one that's usually most likely going to require that type of schooling. So the marketing manager was likely to require a four-year school, and therefore I have the option of choosing a public school or a private school with the pricing dependent upon that. You can see if I chose public, that's great, and I have a little bit of a cushion on my spending plan. If I chose private, then you can see that I go right into the red. I can then go ahead and maybe decide that I don't want to submit it quite yet, but I'm going to sleep on it and then maybe make some adjustments because, as I mentioned before, all of these are adjustable. So I could always just put away a little bit more money or not. Maybe I come back up here and I choose that I actually want a little bit of a cheaper car or a not quite as an expensive car. And so that brings me up to a remaining balance of $39. If I decide I wanted to continue later, you can click the Save and Continue button, and this will allow the student to enter their email address, and they will receive an email which has this link. The link that you see here is one that's going to be available for 30 days. And when they click that, they're able to get right back into the same exact spot that they left. So all of their selections will remain constant. So for me, just for the purpose of this exercise, I'm just going to click the link, which will reload my page to bring me back right where I was. And then you can see that all of my options are here. So when I come back, I may want to decide that, you know, I actually really want to be an automotive mechanic. And so that I can go down and you'll see I have some additional money remaining. And that really is because of the student loan difference, because the automotive mechanic has one that is only requiring the community college option. And that is a little bit of a deduction in the total monthly cost for the student loans. When I've done and I decide that I'm good with this, I can enter my email address, my first and last name, and then my email address. And I can submit my final budget. Now, when I submit this, two things are going to happen. The first is that I will receive an email with my final selections, and it will include everything that I have in this form here, so I can see everything that I've chosen from my profession all the way down. The second part that will happen is that the credit union that's sponsoring this student will be able to go ahead and also receive that email, notifying them that the student has filled it out, and they can review the selections and the information there. It also will have their email address and their name, allowing the credit union to follow up with the student or the school, however the relationship works, and hopefully talk via email, or perhaps they can even get into touch in person and do like a one-on-one consultation and go over the budget and go over their plan and go over things that they may want to consider and alter, and hopefully form that relationship so that they are in the community, and perhaps that student will come back to you guys, the credit unions, once they graduate and in the future. So I'm going to go ahead and click on submit the final budget. And you'll see that once I do that, I get a thank you page that says, thank you for filling out the form. From here, a couple other things I just want to point out. We have an overview page that goes right back to the first screen that we saw. So in case the student is doing this and they get lost and they're not quite sure what the next step was or what to do next, they can always get back here. There also is a great resources tab, one that if you have any recommendations for what you would like to add to it, or anything that you want to think might be beneficial, then we can do that. This couple I'll point out is this program is also working with and kind of side by side with the Young and Free Maine program, which is also done by the Credit Union League, that caters to the 18 to 25 crowd. So it's really a nice program that these students could hopefully fall right into, and it offers them a space where they can share thoughts and share ideas. They can also watch and see the journeys that other people of their age may have taken, and get some tips and insights. And there's also a bunch of information, tips for saving, things to do that don't cost any money, how you can build your credit, etc. So all some really great resources. And finally, there's a contact link. The contact link in the contact page allows the student to fill out their information in their email and then send a message. And this message will go to the credit union that's sponsoring. So the ABC Credit Union, the email address would receive an email from this with the information that the student filled out, allowing them to go ahead and answer them via email, or perhaps the student requested a callback, or however the instance is, that they'll be able to call back and email back and get the student an answer to their question so that they can continue to work to submit their information. I'm going to close that up there. So overall, that is essentially the extent of walking through how this site is intended to work. Again, the student can go back and click on any of the different expenses and any of the tabs that they'd like. If they want to alter their spending plan after it's been submitted, then that's certainly something that can be discussed. Or if they want to submit another plan, they could certainly go ahead and do that as well. And hopefully come up with or be educated enough to come up with a budget that really will work for them. And when they get out there in the real world, they're able to put all these things that they've learned into use. So I appreciate you taking the time to listen today, and I am going to sign off. I appreciate it. Thank you.